Books, books. I like books. I'm gonna read them all. Hi readers, Chris here. Welcome to my channel where I talk about fantasy, Stephen King, all sorts of books, and today I'm going to be talking about my most recent Stephen King read, Black House, which is a collaboration between King and Peter Straub. Now, this is not the first time that these two have worked together. Black House is actually a sequel to a book that came out more than 10 years previously, which is the Talisman. If you've been around here for a while, you may remember this was not one of my favorite books. It was not. It's about a young boy who goes off on a quest to save his mother, kind of has this odyssey adventure in like an alternate world, good versus evil. Like, it has a lot of stuff going on for it, but it was way too slow. I did not like the odyssey aspect because it just felt like a bunch of random things together. I never connected with the main character, and it's definitely one of those King books that I feel is way too long and could have been edited down. So when I first picked up Black House, I kind of went in with very low expectations. I was like, this is going to be another one like the Talisman that's probably going to be a bit of a chore to get through. Well, imagine my surprise when I actually liked Black House way better than the Talisman, and I'm going to tell you why. First up, right off the bat up front here, I do want to say that this book is definitely not perfect. And in fact, the first 200 pages or so, you don't even meet the main character, which is insane. It's insane. But anyway, this story picks up in this very small town, and the character, Jack, who was a young boy in the Talisman, is now a grown man. He's known for being this really well-respected detective, but he's retired from detective work. But there's this series of murders and kidnappings that are happening in this small town, and it's one of those one last ride situations where Jack has to solve this one final thing. Because this is not a normal murder. These are not normal murders that are going on. There's clearly something otherworldly going on, and this is something that Jack has had experience with. So unlike the Talisman, where Jack is traveling and you never stay in one location long enough, this story pretty much takes place in this one town. So this is something King does really well, is characters. So you really get to know all of the characters in this world. You get to know all of the players. There's a guy that works at the radio station. You get to know the doctors at the hospital. You get to know the local police force. You get to know all these people in such intimate detail that when the murders and the disappearances start happening, it really gives it that whodunit vibe. And you're trying to figure out, along with Jack, who in the town knows something, who's to blame, who is being, used. There's a very much kind of a whodunit type situation going on. And I thought that was a really clever approach. Because not only is it a whodunit, but it's a supernatural whodunit. So I thought that was a really cool change and a really cool choice for this story. And like I mentioned, because Jack is now an adult and because he's so grown up, I just feel like this story has more of an adult tone to it. And not that the Talisman didn't, even though Jack was a very young boy in that book. If I remember correctly, he's only 10 or 12. He's still a young kid, and all the things that are happening to him are happening to a young kid. Where in this story, Jack is an adult, and he's dealing with very adult things. Obviously, murders and all that stuff aside, he's dealing with, where he is in life and how he wants to be, retired and live this quiet life. How he feels about his love life. I mean, there's this whole new aspect to it that, again, I personally liked a lot better than the Talisman. And then when it comes to the villains, again, there's no other way I can talk about it without comparing it to it. But in the Talisman, there was kind of like one evil human guy and then a supernatural force at play. I feel like the evil in this book takes on a much more realistic persona. Like, there is literally a house, this black house, in the story that anyone who gets near it, like, these horrible things start happening to them. And again, because Jack was a young boy in the first one, I think that the horror aspects were toned down a little bit. But in here, they are not toned down at all. There is some, like, horrifying stuff in here. From the way that the murders happen, from the way that people in the town are terrorized. Like, there's a couple scenes that happen at this mental institute. Like, I feel like this book in particular does a really good job bringing all of that horror stuff to life. So if you are someone that likes that type of book, I would definitely recommend this one. And obviously, if you're not into horror at all, then definitely stay away. And like I said in the beginning, I don't think this book is perfect. I still think it's too long. Even though this book is like 200 to 300 pages less than the Talisman, I still think it could have been edited down even more. Like I mentioned, Jack doesn't even show up for like the first 200 pages, which is kind of crazy and insane. But overall, at the end of the day, I was pleasantly surprised with this one. I did not expect much going in, and it not only met my rock bottom expectations, but it completely exceeded them, which was a really nice surprise. So that is it for me today. So now I want to know from you, have you read A Black House? Have you read The Talisman? Which one did you like better? If you haven't read either, then let me know a book you've read recently that has surprised you. So that is all for me today. I think I already said that. So let me know if you like this video. Give it a thumbs up. And if you're not already, please subscribe to my channel for more bookish stuff coming your way soon. All right, everyone. Happy reading.